Hello, I'm Tamsin, and welcome back to English Sound Building, the advanced pronunciation podcast where you do the work to build muscle memory, and master new sounds. Always remember that successful communication is possible in any one of the thousands of global English accents, and there is no ideal. We're here to celebrate the physical side of language learning and have fun playing with sound. If you'd find it useful to read as you listen, you can find a script for this podcast on my Patreon page. That's www.patreon.com/EnglishBrickByBrick. The link's in the episode notes. Everything's free on there. Just scroll down on the main page. I am a one-person team writing, recording and editing these in my free time though. So if you like what I do and you are able to support me, please do. And thank you so much to those of you who already are. So this week we're having a little change from the voiced and voiceless contrasts we've been looking at over the last few weeks. This week we're talking about the two L sounds in English. And although the pronunciation of the L sounds themselves might be tricky for you depending on your language background, the contrast between them is definitely one which falls into the interesting category. Making the contrast correctly is not essential to understanding. But my learners often don't realize that there are two L sounds, and it can be fascinating to notice either that you've been doing it correctly without even knowing, or that the two different types of L sounds could give you clues as to any difficulties you might have pronouncing either of them in English, depending on your language background. We'll also talk again briefly about how connected speech affects these L sounds. So when we think of the letter L, we tend to think of the sound L. This is made by placing the tip of the tongue against that alveolar ridge, the hard gummy bit behind your upper front teeth. And it's the sound we hear in like, love, and so on. And this is called clear L. We make clear L before vowel sounds. Sounds, not written letters. The L in milk, for example, is different though. Say it to yourself. Milk. Do you feel a difference in where you make the sound? You should notice that the back of the tongue is higher towards the soft palate, and that while the tip of the tongue does move towards the alveolar ridge, it might not necessarily fully make contact with it. Milk. This L sound is called dark L, and we make dark L before a consonant or silence. It's really nice to think about contrast between similar words. So think about the difference between saying full with dark L or fully with clear L, or journal, journalist, or travel, traveller. And then, in terms of connected speech, we can think about what happens when full is followed by a word beginning with a vowel sound rather than by silence. We get, for example, full of fun. So the dark L, full, becomes clear L, full of. This connected speech phenomenon, where the consonant sound from one word attaches itself to the vowel sound in another, is called catenation. But as I said last week, it's far more important to know how the sounds behave than to remember the technical terms. Now, depending on the speaker, how fast or clearly they're speaking and the words they're saying, this dark L can become very dark and can be hard to hear at all, or depending on accent, may be more of a woo sound. Cockney English is famous for this feature, but it's not the only one. So, for example, that journal could become more like journal, travel, travel. And again, it's obviously really important to recognize this when listening. We're going to move on now to listening and repeating. And as you listen and repeat this week, consider whether or not you find it easier to pronounce either the clear L or the dark L, or do you find one or the other or both of them easier to pronounce in certain places, in certain combinations of sounds? Also think about how dark your dark L is. And again, you may notice that that differs depending on the combination of sounds that it's in. Okay, let's start by listening to and repeating words with clear L. Listen and repeat. Ability. Absolutely. Analyze. Blue. Carefully. Clean. Complain. Dislike. Early. Employer. Excellent. Flower. Holiday. Illustrate. Intelligent. Language. Learning. Lesson. Online. Outline. Philosophy. Popular. Qualification. Relax. Select. Unless. Value. Volume. Well done. Let's read them again, this time in groups of 4. Ability, absolutely, analyze, blue. Carefully, clean, complain, dislike. Early employer, excellent, flower. Holiday, illustrate, intelligent, language. Learning, lesson, online, outline. Philosophy, popular, qualification, relax. Select, unless, value, volume. Excellent. We'll now move on to some words with dark L. Listen and repeat. Awful. Battle. Belt. Central. Couple. Detail. Double. Email. External. Fail. Film. Gentle. Healthy. Ideal. Medical. Middle. Multiple. Novel. Physical. Possible. Pupil. Rule. Several. Skill. Successful. Themselves. Title. Welcome. Well done, and again in groups of 4. Awful, battle, belt, central. Couple, detail, double, email. External, fail, film, gentle. Healthy, ideal, medical, middle. Multiple, novel, physical, possible. Pupil, rules, several, skill. Successful, themselves, title, welcome. Well done. We're going to move on to looking at some words with both L sounds. And as you listen to and repeat these, see if you can notice and feel the way your tongue is moving differently in your mouth to make that clear and dark L. Listen and repeat. Calculate. Classical. Clavicle. Developmental. Electrical. Global. Intellectual. Legal. Level. Lifestyle. Little. Local. Logical. Illogical. Political. Well done. And finally, we're going to try some sentences with a mixture of clear and dark L's. In the first 3 sentences, the L's behave as you would expect. Listen and repeat. As usual, I will read it once slowly so that you can grasp the words, although please do remember, as always, the script is there on my Patreon if you need it. We'll then listen again at a more natural pace. I'll pause for you to repeat. I'll repeat the same sentence again and pause for you to repeat one more time. Sentence number 1. He clearly disliked the classical philosophy. He clearly disliked the classical philosophy. He clearly disliked the classical philosophy. Sentence 2. The employer carefully analysed every external detail. The employer carefully analysed every external detail. The employer carefully analysed every external detail. And sentence 3. Several pupils ruled themselves out of the language learning battle. Several pupils ruled themselves out of the language learning battle. Several pupils ruled themselves out of the language learning battle. Fantastic. And in the last 3 sentences, we have some connected speech coming in. So here I'd like you to notice how a word final L sound, which would be dark if followed by silence or by a consonant sound, becomes clear because it's followed by a vowel sound. We have just one example in the first sentence, but there are more examples in sentences 2 and 3. Listen and repeat. Sentence 1. Multiple online language lessons are excellent value. Multiple online language lessons are excellent value. Multiple online language lessons are excellent value. Sentence 2. Their email outlined every possible eventuality. Their email outlined every possible eventuality. Their email outlined every possible eventuality. And sentence 3. The detail in his medical illustrations is visible in several excellent volumes. The detail in his medical illustrations is visible in several excellent volumes. The detail in his medical illustrations is visible in several excellent volumes. Well done. That is the end of this week's workout. I can really feel the muscles in my jaw have worked this week. I hope that you can too. Don't forget to practice as often as you can to build muscle and muscle memory, speeding the podcast up or slowing it down as you need to. If you use social media, come find me on Instagram or Facebook at English Brick by Brick. You'll also find me on Patreon at www.patreon.com/EnglishBrickByBrick. We will be back next week, going back to the V sound from early in this second season, but this time contrasting it with the voiceless F. Enjoy sound building, and I'll see you there.